Big Sky Breakdown, proudly presented by the Bobcat Collective at Montana State. The Bobcat Collective is the NIL collective that serves Montana State University student-athletes. The collective has partnered with Montana State to connect fans, alumni, businesses, and local nonprofits with Montana State student-athletes. Opportunities through the collective allow student-athletes to earn compensation while serving the greater Montana State University community. Sign up now for memberships and enjoy automatic entry into raffles for free tickets while supporting the bright minds at Montana State. They have multiple different membership tiers, and you can also be a one-time supporter, and you can also business partner or corporate supporter. Visit bobcatcollective.com for more.
Is a will you marry me in your future? Or maybe you do it all over again. Hi, I'm Brian Toon with Jewelry Design Center, inviting you to come see the largest selection of Will You Marry Me in the state of Montana. The brightest diamonds of every shape and size, unique settings built to last, and skilled jewelers on site offering free sizing and maintenance for life, because that's how long we want to be your jeweler. Jewelry Design Center in Missoula on Brooks, across from the Montana Club.
All right, excited to be back on a Monday with football in front of us, this time Friday night. I think how our guys went about their business on Saturday was what we were looking for. By and large, we controlled that game from the start with a really good, impressive first drive on the offensive side, and then defensively how we played early. We're really excited about that. I think made some plays through the game on both sides. We're explosive at times on offense. Really got after their quarterback, generally speaking, and made the big play in the special teams with Taco's return in that second half. So feel real good about how game one went, and providing ourselves another opportunity to continue to play football. And we're 1 of 8 now, and get an opportunity to play a team that we've already played. Not a unique deal in the playoffs. 2 years ago, we doubled up with Weber State, and we're looking forward to this opportunity. I know since we played in October, Idaho's won 6 in a row, and they had an impressive win themselves this past Saturday night against Lehigh. And I think where are we at compared to where we were in October? I'd like to think we've continued to move forward and improve. I'm sure they would say the same thing. Obviously, getting Lane back at quarterback, I think, has been big for them. And it's not to say the other two guys, Wagner and Josephek, didn't do a good job while they're in there, but there was a reason Lane was their starter out of fall camp. You look at what they've continued to do, in particular on Saturday night, their passing game has the ability to be really explosive with Dwyer and Hamper. I think Dwyer went over 1,000. Hamper's right short of 1,000. So, impressive duo receivers right there. They've continued to play multiple running backs, 4 guys in that room that have contributed at different points in time this season, and they have the ability to run the football for sure. And then defensively, you look at their front 7 in particular. Really good defensive line, a defensive line that continues to put pressure on the quarterbacks, over 30 sacks right now. I think James Newby has 10 himself. Linebacker, safeties, Eck, Johnson, McCormick, that are all downhill type of guys that can really tackle well. And then in the special teams wise, I know Marshall has really been a factor. Returned a kick for a touchdown back a few weeks ago. So I think they've continued to improve. I think as have we. I think fitting, I suppose, the 3 of the 8 teams, our Big Sky teams, as we move into the quarterfinals, and we're fortunate to be one of them and excited about the matchup on Friday.
What does Lane provide to that offense? I know you didn't face him last time. What do you see out of him?
Well, I don't think he's stylistically much different. I don't think any one of them is this different guy necessarily. I think his ability to throw the ball down the field, I think, is better in my opinion. Or at least they've had more success, more consistent success when he's been there. He throws I think he throws with great touch. I think he throws with anticipation. He might not have the strongest arm necessarily. I don't know that, but I think those 2 things, the anticipation, the touch, have showed up. He's capable of extending plays. They don't necessarily run him a lot, but he's capable of extending plays and gaining yards if you give him something. So, and I think just anytime you're the starter in, say, in spring ball and fall camp like he was, you're getting more reps. So I I would think just heading into this season, he was the more seasoned, experienced guy, even though he hadn't played much prior to this year at the same time. So got good command, and they've done a good job with him at the helm.
You talk about just kind of the shorter week playing on a Friday, the opportunity that creates, and also like having to condense the practice week.
Yeah, similar to what we did 2 years ago when we played William & Mary. We went from a Saturday afternoon game to a Friday night game at home. So not completely unfamiliar to it. All it really does is it condenses your clock a little bit. We brought the guys in yesterday to have our review meetings essentially in the evening. So, and then we were out in the practice field like we would be on a Monday morning. A little bit more, and certainly work getting done towards our opponent than a typical Monday. But I think this time of year, practice time so much isn't the biggest deal. It's just your quality that you're getting, and we'll have to. We're in finals week 2, so that creates a little bit different schedule. But I think we're able to stay generally on schedule. We'll do some more walkthroughs to supplement maybe less reps of actual practice, but excited for the opportunity. I think for us being at home, the transition isn't super complicated playing on a Friday night. There's no travel involved. I know we have a bunch of guys going through commencement on Friday morning, and we'll make time for that. So just excited about it, honestly. I think, when it was presented late on Saturday night, I hope our guys were excited about the opportunity to play sooner than later.
In the first game, they ran a trick play that you guys snuffed out. Obviously, you had the 4th down stop. So how much do you think how much is that on your mind, knowing that they like to do plays like that?
Well, I think it's always going to be part of their repertoire. They've utilized trick plays. It doesn't mean they're always going to work. So I think that being said, it's part of their offense. So we have to stop their offense, and whatever tricks we can anticipate, we got to be able to prepare for that. We got to be disciplined. Our ability to stop trick play or plays the first game, if there was multiple, was just our ability to be where we're supposed to be, not be fooled by what they're trying to present, and obviously trying to do something different. I think their willingness to go for it on 4th down is something that has shown up not only this year but last, and those plays can be big, and that was a big play at the beginning part of that game. And if we're put in that situation again defensively, we got to bow up and do what we can to stop them.
And offensively, obviously, Tommy's ability to keep it in that game was critical.
Mm-hmm.
What else did you feel like was successful, especially up front against that defense?
Yeah, I think beyond Tommy's big run early, I know he had another long touchdown or another touchdown on a similar play. I thought we ran it consistently, and that wasn't us getting 2-3 yards. It was getting 5, 6, 7 yards quite a bit. I thought our running back, Scott Trey, that night in particular, ran really well. And then I think we did some things play-action-wise, not a huge volume, but we did some things play-action-wise that really took advantage of their aggressiveness. So, I can't imagine they're going to change a whole lot. They're going to try to play better, and we're going to have to match that, exceed that. We've played each other now. This will be the 3rd time in a pretty condensed time frame. And it's not about all these kind of rapid changes you're going to make. It's about doing everything you can to play as well as you can. We've both gotten to this part of the season for good reason, and allowing our guys to go out there and play the very best is what this is about.
You mentioned playing Idaho several times, and we were a couple times 2 years ago. I guess what is that, just the prospect of facing a common opponent?
Well, what it does is it creates a different transition. That's why even like playing on a Friday and transitioning yesterday wasn't as complicated. You don't have to go back and break down, say, all those games on the front end. I think you have a semblance of what you would like to do, right from the jump. So I think that part, and they have the same advantage, I guess. So it's not like it's an advantage our way, but from a time perspective, it changes you on the front end a little bit different. I think you certainly, the last 6 games, both sides, you take that and add that to what you thought before. But, again, it's going to come down to who plays better, and it's not about any tricks and gimmicks and those type of things. We got to put ourselves in the position to play the very best we can. We played really well the first time, and I'm sure they would say they didn't. And here's a new game. That game really doesn't have anything to do with our ability to win this game. I think there should be a sense of confidence maybe out of it, but we got 4 more quarters against them now, and this is the 4 quarters that's really going to matter.
And then just, I guess, injury update, please.
Yeah, Rohan, I think, talking to even Bill, I think we would have been doubtful last week. I think we can upgrade him a little bit to questionable. I think he's, he was out there warming up a little bit. We didn't really have an intent of dressing him, but at least wanted to get him out there on a Saturday and see what he could do. So, my guess is he's going to do everything he can to be out there. And otherwise, we did get out of that game, very very healthy. And that was a physical outfit, Tennessee Martin was. So it wasn't like, our guys weren't going at it from a physical nature throughout that game. So feel fortunate to come out of it without really anything additional, and then like the opportunity to get Rohan back. Julius, he's still best week to week, so he won't be out there this week. But again, I would say we're hopeful that we can get him back.
Connor Moore is somebody I was doing a story on. And,
Mm-hmm.
I guess first off, just his recruitment back in 21, he said, Ohio guy, not necessarily. First off, how did he get on your guys' radar?
Yeah, Taylor Houseright, being from Ohio, somehow, some way, caught wind of him. He's not, he's not necessarily from where Taylor was from, but I can't even recall how we found out about him. But it was pretty early, relatively speaking, in the process. So he was a guy that in the spring of Connor's junior year, we were on. Real fortunate to get him to come out here for camp that summer. And he was just, a classic case of a really athletic big man that hadn't yet put the weight on. Played basketball, played baseball, just hadn't, committed from a, year-round perspective to be a football player and be an old lineman. So he was in maybe that 240 range when he was out here that summer. But, clearly the type of frame and body type and all that, and even demeanor that we were looking for. So I know, leaving home and coming this far away was not a, maybe something he was looking for, but he and his parents, I think returned for Gold Rush. So he had those 2 trips out here probably within, let's say, 6 weeks or so, and committed shortly thereafter. And then he picked up some more recruiting interest as his senior year went along, but he stuck with us, and I think for him this has been an awesome experience, and I know for us, beyond amazing what he's become, and to play as well as he has for these last 2 seasons and still just be a redshirt sophomore.
Anything just that really stood out about his growth this season, especially?
Well, I think there was times probably the first half of last year where he still had redshirt freshman maybe just lapses. I think you just become you're a seasoned vet at midway through starting. So whether you're a freshman, a sophomore, a junior, it really takes maybe half a year where, you've seen enough. There's a lot of things those guys get presented with. And now, look at this year, he's played a bunch of guard early in the season and played tackle. So, he went from that guy that was probably really leaning on who was playing next to him last year to now that works the other way. Fortunately, I think we're at a point where that group is seasoned enough where there's not a lot of, anyone telling anybody what to do, so to speak. But I think that's the biggest thing. You just grow with your confidence and your inventory of what you've seen just continues to grow. And it doesn't mean you're perfect, but boy, he's a guy that can see things, adjust on the fly, really make some amazing plays as an offensive lineman.
And then just one on the Eddie Robinson Award. I was curious if you've heard from any congratulations from Craig Bowl or some of the mentors you've had.
In fact, all 3 of the head coaches that I either played for or worked under, sent me a text and stuff. So, and a lot of congratulatory texts as much as anything. So, it's extremely honored to get that, and owe a lot of people, and certainly owe this outfit, our players and coaches. Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that I would point out about McCade. He's got to the point, I'd say, in this last go around where he's entirely committed himself, and that's physically, that's mentally, and figuring out, getting to that point and knowing what that looks like as far as all that you need to put into it to become your very best physically is something that sometimes takes a little while. He's a blessed individual as far as his athleticism, but really honing that in this final go around, I think, has been there, and then just how he's become more and more of a student of the game. And I think it went back to our playoff run his sophomore year, and he got to play a little bit, and he was, Callahan was still with us, and I think that was probably his first kind of look inside and say, okay, this is how I need to prepare. And I thought he did a really good job that last year, and he's taken that all to another level. And then, with Danny going down, he's been forced to be the communicator, and I think that part doesn't come maybe naturally to him, but I think he's really embraced the opportunity because it needed to happen. And then, his ability to mentor Bryce and Neil, I think it goes without saying what he's been able to do to, pull those guys up, no different than he would have been pulled up, a few years back, playing with Cal and Nolan and those guys.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Town Pump. Right down the road. Pump it up. Oh, yeah.
Big Sky Breakdown, proudly presented by the Bobcat Collective at Montana State. The Bobcat Collective is the NIL collective that serves Montana State University student athletes. The collective is partnered with Montana State to connect fans, alumni, businesses, and local nonprofits with Montana State student athletes. Opportunities through the collective allow student athletes to earn compensation while serving the greater Montana State University community. Sign up now for memberships and enjoy automatic entry into raffles for free tickets while supporting the bright minds at Montana State. They have multiple different membership tiers, and you can also be a one-time supporter, and you can also business partner or corporate supporter. Visit bobcatcollective.com for more.
You mentioned that playoff run his sophomore year. I guess just him kind of, waiting his turn a little bit, learning from Troy, learning from Cal and Nolan. I guess what have you found in his development kind of as he's risen up the ranks?
Yeah, we've had a good run of guys that have, certainly contributed on the special team side and maybe been that fourth or fifth guy, and right on the outside looking in. Maybe they get their crack in a week or two because of an injury, and ultimately, but continuing to learn how to be ready to go, I think is the thing that they've continued to do. And I think Bobby's done a great job in preparing more than just our two starters. So we've been able to continue that high-level linebacking play, in all 4 years I've been here, and we've been able to have all-conference guys each year, all-American guys, and he's the next in that line. I know Danny was, for good reason, was honored as a second-team all-conference guy, and he certain would have been a first-team all-conference guy. I think they both have, had all-American type qualities. So, it's our hope that, we'll be talking about, let's say, Bryce and Neil in the same regard, next year, the following year, and then who's going to be those next guys? Because that's such a critical position in our outfit. Not only physically, those guys developing, but really the instincts, really limiting the errors. I think that's what happens as those guys mature. They go from guys that early on might flash here and there, but they're going to screw two things up for every two plays they make. And when a linebacker screws up, that's bad. They're in the wrong spot, they communicated wrong, whatever. A lot is on their plate, and when that position's high performing in our defense, we're playing good defense. And thankful for McCade of becoming that next guy, and again, thankful for his mentorship of Neil and Bryce right now, and there's more young guys coming. So hopefully that answered your question, but I really think back to where he was in 21. McCade was hurt most of that year, but at the same time, he ended up playing in 5 games because the 5th was his national championship game. And, even at that time, he played special teams in the quarters, the semis, and the finals. And, he could have pumped the brakes there and said, hey, Coach, I want a red shirt. given the way it worked out. But he wanted to be part of it and appreciate his mindset back then and certainly have all the way through.
You spoke last week about playing December football. Getting this game, at home in December versus a few months ago in October, how much of a key advantage is that for you guys?
Well, I think it is. It's critical this time of year. It's your crowd for sure, and it's maybe not everyone's crowd. You look across the landscape of the FCS right now. I don't think it's everybody's crowd making the impact that ours did on Saturday and will again this Friday night. But it's also the conditions. I think it's going to be a cool night. I don't know if it's going to be cold. I'm sure it'll be cold for some, but I don't think our guys have an opportunity to go out there most every day and practice in whatever we are having to deal with in the morning. That temperature piece I don't think is going to be an issue for us, and not that it is for them either, but I know it's not going to be for us. And I guess more than anything, it's just comfortable surroundings, your understanding of just even how the simple things like the field plays, the field lays out, the way the wind blows, and for our specialists, all those things really matter, I think. But first and foremost, it's the crowd, and our crowd. No different than they were on Saturday. Our crowd, I think needs to even take it up a notch. Thinking back to that Saturday night back in October, I know they were challenged. I know they were challenged by Coach Eck. So hopefully they're up to the challenge again, and hopefully we give them a good reason to be loud and proud.
Coach, I'm doing a feature on Brendan Hall, so just kind of, what he's meant to the team the past couple of years and the reliability he is as a puncher and a kickoff guy.
Yeah, we made a conscious decision that Brendan was going to be a guy that could really, help this program for 2 years. Back when we had an opportunity to recruit him, and what he's been able to do on the kickoff side, almost entirely eliminating a kickoff return outfit in 25 games. That is significant. I think we've had one real return in 25 games. That's even hurt in the least bit. And then on the punt side, I think we don't punt a ton, but when we've had to punt, I think he's been a real weapon. If we were an outfit that punted more, maybe he would get, he'd just get more opportunity. He'd have more stats, all that type of stuff. But I do appreciate his willingness to take all that in stride. And I really appreciate what this program and this university has done for him. He spoke to it last week. I think in leaving SMU, he wasn't real fired up about football, but I think he knew he had this gift. And in Montana State, he found a place that he could continue his pursuit of a mechanical engineering degree, and really take off with that. And then maybe find some new life on the football field. And I think he's done that, and he's definitely made a big impact.
Yeah, getting that Louisville invite, just kind of, he talked to me about that, a few days ago. Just kind of what that means to him, even, representing Montana State, what that kind of honors like for a specialist at a smaller school.
Yeah, those opportunities to play in those All-Star games, become a catalyst for what's going to be next. And he certainly has the ability to have an opportunity beyond college. So excited for him. I'm hopeful that a couple of other guys get some of those All-Star opportunities. But, in particular for a specialist, over the course of that week, that's going to be very important for him to be able to demonstrate, not only what he can do here and there, but what he can do consistently. Those jobs, punting and kicking at the NFL level, or professional period, are hard to come by, and it's about ability, but it's about consistency. And I certainly feel like he's got all the talent to take on that, and excited for him.
Coulter, do you have anything?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think if we said, hey, what's one of our top few position groups, I think we would definitely say our offensive line. I do think they've in our 13 games been very consistent. We've been able to put up at least 30 points each game, and that's in large part because of the the success we have up front. On the flip side, I get why they would say their D-line would be one of their top units. It's talented, it's deep. They've done a good job generally against a run in creating a tough situation there. They have size on the interior. They have athleticism all abound, and they got some really good individuals. James Newby, Afalava, probably in particular, are two of the better D linemen, in our league. So, like the first time, if you're just comparing numbers, something has to give, and I would say the same is true on Friday night. I think, just looking at Dwyer and Hamper in particular, really good route runners first and foremost, and really good feel by both of them. I know, Dwyer is typically the more on the outside, the over-the-top type of guy. Hamper's the bigger body that plays in the slot quite a bit. They move him around a little bit more. They move them both around, but they do a good job of putting those two in positions to find open space. And they're, Hamper's a little bigger target, so that's one thing. And then Dwyer, I think Dwyer's body control and his catch radius and his hands, are right at the top in our league for sure. And I think those two, you could, I'm sure, see they're both young. I mean, you could see their confidence continue to grow, and in turn, whether it's Coach Schleissner calling plays for them, their quarterbacks throwing to them. It seems like there's no fear to put the ball up, and those guys are going to make plays in those 50-50 situations. So I think those two in particular, and they got loose a couple times in our game, and they were missed. So, we're going to have to correct a few of those things that happened early. We had some coverage challenges early in that game that they didn't take advantage of, and, we'll do our best to be on that. And, as much as anything, we got to put as much pressure on Lane as possible. Oh, I don't know. I thought we played with great intensity that night. I thought we had a purpose that night. And if that was, hey, to continue to move this thing along where we were at in the season, if it was, a little bit of not feeling real good about how the game went last year, it was probably a combined force. So, we need to play with great intent on Friday night. And we have done that week in, week out. We have showed up, I think, with a very similar mindset to whoever we've played. And, like any other game, conference foe, we don't need to become anything we're not. We need to be the best version of ourselves, and know that we got a team that's coming in here with a little different mindset. They're the ones that are truly going to have that chip on their shoulder from how the last game went this time, and we got to be able to take that on, and we got to expect that that's the way they're going to come out. They got a good team that's won a bunch of games, and they've won a bunch of games since we played them, and they're in this position for good reason. So we need to come out ready to go. Yeah, I think he continues to raise the bar in what we all think of his ability to play the quarterback position. And that's maybe as simple as I could put it. That performance on Saturday, there was a couple runs in there. There was an escape or two maybe, but by and large it was him making the right decisions again. And then when given an opportunity to make the throws, he made the throws. I know we got two balls batted down, and he overthrew one that he was getting pressured on. Otherwise, 22 completions was a variety of throws, but there was a couple real special throws in there. So he continues to operate at a high level. He continues to lead us, and he continues to protect himself at the same time. So it goes without saying. I mean, I think his ability to play well is a driving force for us, and I think he knows that, but I think he's okay with all that, and ready to continue to put it all out there each and every week and play his best so we can be our best.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any town pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Town